When you don't recognize the signs of a dismissive avoidant being truly interested in you, in fact, maybe obsessed, you may misread the signs that are there and misread the relationship as a result, causing you to either tailspin or just feel confused and frustrated. So in today's video, I'm going to break down for you 5 hidden signs a dismissive avoidant is secretly obsessed with you or super interested in you. And after these 5 signs, we are also going to talk about what to do if you had to visit here to know if they like you. Because what that means is that there's room in your relationship dynamic for more open communication, more transparency, the ability to be more upfront, to learn each other's love languages and needs. There's just ways that you can really improve your connection with this person in a healthy form so that you feel like your needs are met too. So let's break into the 5 major signs, and then we'll dive into that second part as well. First sign, dismissive avoidants, when they're interested in somebody, they express their love and connection through acts of service. So one of the things that often goes unnoticed for people who have a different love language is how interested dismissive avoidants are, because they will actually express their interest through making you a coffee, bringing you over breakfast or lunch, driving you to the airport. They'll try to do things that are very acts of service based. And that is one of the biggest ways that they show their interest. And you know what's so interesting is, as somebody who worked in private practice for more than a decade and who actually spoke to many dismissive avoidants, they would think that their acts of service were so obvious. They would be like, it's so obvious I like this person. Look at these things I do for them. Whereas a lot of times when I was working with couples, the partner would say, yeah, but that's not how I receive love. And so often these things really get missed. And so it's important to keep those things in mind. Number 2, consistency. Okay, I want to be really clear about this. If a dismissive avoidant likes you, they will consistently make an effort. The degree of the effort may be different than other attachment styles, but the consistency will be there nonetheless. So let me give you an example. A dismissive avoidant, if they're interested in you, depending on how early it is into dating, let's say you're a couple months into seeing them, they'll probably be texting you every day. They won't be texting you all day, every day. So the degree will be less, but they'll be texting you consistently. And so this is something to really take into consideration. Sometimes if you're anxious or fearful avoidant, you think, well, I would want to text more throughout the day. But if there's consistency, this person's interested. Now, it's a separate conversation we get to have at the end of this video about if you need a higher degree in these certain areas, then we have to talk about that. You have to let the person know, because the vast majority of the time, the dismissive avoidant won't even recognize that this isn't being met. Okay, so there's a lot of room for improvement here. But in terms of how we communicate and convey, so that you can feel more fulfilled in this relationship dynamic and that you can vet to see if they're capable of showing up for you in this way. But consistency is a really big sign that they are really interested in the relationship. Number 3, when you ask something of them. So if you say, I need ABC, maybe you say you need to spend a little bit more time together one night a week, they may not have the best initial response. So initially they may seem a little bit offended or kind of closed off. But within an hour or an afternoon or within a couple of days at absolute most, you'll see them actually make the effort that you requested. Okay. So dismissive avoidants, they're internal processors. They need to take the time to really reflect on what you said, to think about if it's something that they can do. But you're going to see when a dismissive avoidant is really interested, they're going to hear you. They may not in that moment be like super agreeable. They may not say, yes, let's do that. So let's start this weekend, but they'll hear it. You can see the wheels turning where they'll sort of start to process. And then within a couple of days, you'll actually see that action follow up. And it's a sign that they are truly taking into consideration your requests, your needs, and then making the effort. And to be honest, these are things that you should be looking for in this relationship. Like if you're going to be with a dismissive avoidant, you want to see these things. You want the acts of service. You want the consistency. You want to be able to see that if you do ask things, that the needle moves, that there's progress, because these are important ways of operating in a more secure type of dynamic. Number 4, they may check your social media pretty consistently if they're interested in you. You might see them like all your photos, or if you are a social media person, you're going to see that they're pretty engaged there. There is a branch of dismissive avoidants who literally do not care about social media at all and won't even use it. So obviously we're leaving that branch of people out, but you're going to see that there's this consistency there in regards to, checking in and seeing what you're doing. If they're the branch of dismissive avoidants who are really disinterested in social media as a whole, you'll actually see the variation of this be that they check in to see what you did for the weekend. They check in to see what you did when you weren't together. And it may not be like, hey, what are you up to right now, the moment that you're not together? But it may be that when you see them on a Sunday and you hadn't seen them since Friday, they're like, oh, what did you do for Saturday? What were you up to last night? And they truly care to know about you and your life. And again, this is so important to look for, because if you just have somebody who's not interested, not making an effort, not really doing any of these things, then we probably have the type of dismissive avoidant who's just not in a place to be ready and willing to do the work. And that will affect the relationship. So I'm going to tell you point number 5. It's probably one of the most important ones. And then we'll go into what to do if you are having to rely on a video like this. I'd love for you to come to this channel all the time and visit, of course, but it's also a sign that you're looking for external sources rather than looking through, sourcing the information from your partner, right? Which means you might need a little bit of validation or reassurance from this person. So we're going to get into how you can approach that in just a moment. But I want to let you know, if you are somebody who wants to do a much deeper dive into understanding intimacy as a whole between different attachment styles, you can actually dive in and check out for free and keep for life. It's literally a gift right now, a giveaway. The Attachment Styles and Intimacy course, and it covers like what makes people feel emotionally close, physically close in regards to intimacy and sex, but also just like the different types of intimacy and what the needs are of each attachment style, what the fears are, what the things that will push people away are, what the boundaries are, both their unhealthy and healthy patterns, how to play into the healthy ones and make sure you overcome the unhealthy ones for you or wanting to know this about somebody else. And again, you can check that out using the link down below fully for free. You keep it for life. So it's a gift, it's a giveaway. We're just doing this for a limited time, but it's down there below. Number 5, dismissive avoidants will ask meaningful questions. Okay, this is a really big one. Dismissive avoidants, when they're really interested, they will ask you about your family, about your life. They'll try to get a caricature of who you are. They'll try to get this like understanding of who you are. They seek to understand and learn about things that they feel and experience true interest from. So if they're truly interested in you, they're going to be asking you these meaningful things. They're going to be digging and trying to find out this information. And that's a sign that there's a lot of genuine curiosity, a lot of meaningful interest here. So a really big one to look out for. Now, if you found yourself coming here to this video to find answers, that's not a bad thing. I love that you're here to do your research, to educate yourself, to learn about people of different attachment styles and their programming. It's actually a really big green flag that you're here to learn. The point that's really meaningful that can help you move the needle even more in your own relationships is to notice that you are sourcing here. And it's great if you're sourcing here and from the person, but if you're just sourcing here, it's a sign that you can ask this person for more of what you need as well. So don't be afraid, for example, if number 1, they're an acts of service person and maybe you're a quality time person in terms of your love languages, or a physical touch person, or you may be words of affirmation, you need more actual affirmation from them. Don't be afraid to talk to them about love languages and needs. Don't be afraid to say, hey, these are some big needs I have in a relationship. This is the way I feel connected. What about you? I know that everybody's different and I'm curious to learn about you. And, the same thing. So it fosters this open communication. Same thing with love languages, being able to say, hey, this is a big love language that I have. This is meaningful for me. What are yours? And that way it's this fun, open way of doing this. And you can even create healthy habits around this in your relationship. The more you habituate these things, the better it goes. And when you communicate, I'd practice having like a needs check-in if you can once a week, or a love language check-in with each other. Just something where it's fun, it's easy, it's light, but it's designed to make sure that you are bridging any of these gaps in terms of what are natural differences between attachment styles. And the more you go direct into your relationship to establish this, the more successful and thriving it will become. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to check out that attachment styles and intimacy course, it's down below. Thank you for watching and for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video today, and I will see you in tomorrow's video too.